welcome back to our channel, US America's News Feed. We hope you're doing great. In this video, we're going to talk about who are the immigrants who could be targeted in Donald Trump's mass deportation plans. President-elect Donald Trump's mass deportation plan targets millions of immigrants in the US without legal status or under temporary protections. This initiative could disrupt families and industries, particularly agriculture, where undocumented workers are crucial. If you are interested in this topic, please pay attention and watch the video through to the end to get all the information. Please hit like and subscribe, and don't forget to push the notification bell for an upcoming video. So without any further delay, let's jump into the video. Who are the immigrants who could be targeted in Donald Trump's mass deportation plans? President-elect Donald Trump intends to initiate a large-scale deportation effort targeting millions of immigrants residing in U.S. without legal status or with temporary protections when he assumes office on January 20. This challenging plan could cause family separations and disrupt U.S. businesses. In 2022, around 11 million immigrants were in the U.S. illegally or with temporary status, a number that some experts estimate has risen to 13 to 14 million. Immigrants with temporary protections are not immediately deportable, and many reside in sanctuary states that restrict collaboration with federal immigration authorities. Where do immigrants without legal status live? California was the state with the most immigrants in the U.S. illegally, with some 2.2 million in 2022, according to estimates by the Center for Migration Studies of New York, a nonpartisan think tank. Texas was close behind with 1.8 million, followed by Florida 9360000, New Jersey 4950000, New Jersey 4950000. California, New York, New Jersey, and Illinois, all Democratic strongholds, are among 11 states with sanctuary laws or policies that limit cooperation with federal immigration enforcement, according to the Immigrant Legal Resource Center. Some 44% of immigrants in the U.S. illegally lived in sanctuary states in 2022, according to the Migration Center's estimate. That figure does not include those in sanctuary cities and counties in places without a statewide law, such as New Mexico. Most of the immigrants taken into custody by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement are caught illegally crossing the border or are referred from state and local prisons and jails. Law enforcement in sanctuary states typically refuse to alert ICE when they detain or release an immigrant eligible for deportation. Where do immigrants without legal status come from? In 2022, nearly half of the immigrants in U.S. illegally, about 4.8 million out of a total of 11 million, were from Mexico, according to a report from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. Other major countries of origin included Guatemala, El Salvador, and Honduras. Since January 2022, approximately 2 million immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela entered U.S. either by crossing illegally or through Biden-era humanitarian programs. Trump plans to terminate these programs, including one for migrants with U.S. sponsors and another that lets migrants in Mexico use an app to enter legally. Where do immigrants in the U.S. illegally work? The vast majority of the immigrants in U.S. illegally in 2022 were prime working age, according to the DHS report. About 8.7 million of the 11 million were ages 18 to 54. Farm groups have urged Trump to spare their workers from his promised mass deportations, arguing their removal would upend the food supply chain. Think tanks and the U.S. government have varying estimates for the number of agricultural workers that live in the U.S. illegally. The Center for Migration Studies of New York found the total number to be 283,000 in 2022, with about half in California. U.S. government estimates suggest the nationwide total could be closer to 1 million. How many Americans live in mixed-ethnic households? The immigration advocacy group FWDUs projected that there would be 14.5 million immigrants in U.S. illegally by January 2025, up from the 11 million in 2022. Of those, 10.1 million live with a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, what's known as a mixed Southie household. The figures suggest that a large-scale deportation initiative would likely split up families and could affect millions of citizens and permanent residents. At least 5.1 million U.S. citizen children live with an immigrant parent who lacks legal status, according to AFWD, U.S. analysis of government data. Those families could face the prospect of relocating to another country together or being separated. How long have immigrants who lack legal status lived in the U.S.? Some 54% of immigrants in the U.S. illegally had lived in the country for more than 10 years as of 2022, according to the report by the Center for Migration Studies of New York. About 25% had been in the country for less than 5 years. How many immigrants in the U.S. now lack legal status? CGS, the Center for Migration Studies of New York, and other think tanks have used census data and other figures to estimate that there were about 11 million immigrants in the using 2022 who either lacked legal immigration status or had temporary humanitarian protections. DHS enforcement and entry statistics suggest that at least 5 million more immigrants entered the U.S. without legal status or with a temporary humanitarian status since then. However, some of those immigrants have since been deported, voluntarily left, obtained legal status, or died over the same period. An up-to-date estimate of factors in all of these outcomes is not available. Are people with temporary protections counted in these estimates? Yes, the estimates of immigrants in the U.S. illegally typically include people who have temporary humanitarian protections, meaning they would not be immediately deportable. The protections include 1.1 million people covered by temporary protected status as of September 30. TPS grants deportation relief and access to work permits to people already in the U.S. if their home countries are deemed unsafe due to armed conflict, natural disasters, or other extraordinary circumstances. The designations last 6 to 18 months but can be renewed indefinitely. Trump sought to end most TPS enrollment during his 2017-2021 presidency, but was blocked by federal courts. He is expected to try to end most TPS enrollment as the protections expire, but the process would face litigation. Thousands more have a similar status known as deferred enforced departure that Trump could also try to roll back. Another 5,000 people have deportation relief and work permits through the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program for Dreamer immigrants brought to us illegally as children. Trump tried to end the DACA program during his first term, but was rebuffed by the Supreme Court. Trump is expected to again try to end DACA, although he said in a recent interview that he would be open to a deal to protect Dreamers. The state of Texas is currently leading a lawsuit against the program that could make its way back to the Supreme Court during Trump's presidency. Trump's deportation plans raise significant challenges, including family separations and workforce disruptions. The efforts to end temporary protection programs will likely face legal opposition, sparking debates about the balance between enforcement and compassion in immigration policy. Howdy K. Callahan's laughter? That is all for today in this video. What are your thoughts on this? Please let us know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching the entire video. Hopefully the information is useful to you. See you later in the next video. Till then, take care.
Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel US Immigration News. We hope you are doing great. In this video, we are going to talk about who are the immigrants who could be targeted in Donald Trump mass deportation plans. President-elect Donald Trump mass deportations plan aims to target millions of immigrants living in the US without legal status or under temporary protections. As of 2022, an estimated 11 million immigrants were in the US illegally, a number that may have grown to 13 to 14 million by 2024. This includes people in sanctuary states like California, New York, and Illinois, where law limit cooperation with federal immigration enforcement. About 44% of immigrants without legal status live in sanctuary states, and many come from Mexico, Central America, Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. California, with around 2.2 million undocumented immigrants in 2022, has the highest number, followed by Texas, Florida, and New York. These regions, particularly those with sanctuary laws, resist ICE collaboration, which complicates deportation efforts. Many immigrants are apprehended for illegal border crossings or after being referred by local jails. A significant portion of the immigrants' population is in the workforce. With about 8.7 million of the 11 million being of working age, industries like agriculture depend heavily on undocumented workers, with estimates suggesting anywhere from 283,000 to over 1 million such workers nationwide. A large portion of immigrants live in a mixed status households with a US citizens or permanent residents. Any repression would potentially tear apart families affecting millions of US citizens, including 5.1 million children. Many immigrants have lived in the US for over 10 years, making the operation particularly challenging. Additionally, the number of immigrants in the US with temporary protections like a temporary protected status or deferred action for childhood arrivals further complicates the landscape Trump plan to terminate these protections, though this may face legal challenges. In total, the US is a home to millions of undocumented immigrants, many of whom are deeply integrated into the economy and communities. Trump's mass separation plan would not only impact the immigrants directly involved but also disrupt entire industries and harm families, making it a highly controversial and continuous issue.